Hello and good evening and welcome to the FITT Show. Financial information for today and tomorrow. I'm Bobby Kinzer.
And I'm Thomas Doty.
And we are the FITT Show, helping our people get their finances in shape. It's such a pleasure to have you all joining us out there in virtual world to another episode of our wonderful financial education and uplifting information that we're trying to inspire our people to create wealth, and not just wealth, but generational wealth. Thank you for tuning in. We're here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Please share on Facebook Live and also share with YouTube, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube also. This information is for all. We have the young and the old on here, and we try to reach everybody where they are as much as we can. There's a lot going on, Thomas Doty, out there in the world of finances these days. How you been doing?
I'm hanging in. Things have been crazy between the stock market, the monkeypox, and COVID, and airlines, and some crazy times, man.
They got the donkey foot too. You heard about that?
No, I missed that one.
Okay, yeah, that's the next one. Watch what I'm telling you. Well, look, that we're in the same place today. It's good that we're in the same place. It's amazing. I want to hear you play that piano one day. But let's get into the stock market, though. What's going on in the top of the chart subject is always the stock market.
Yeah, this has been a crazy week. Lots of ups and downs, mostly downs. The market had been on a little rally for a while, but the last week has caused it to actually go back a little bit. You want to show the chart, Bob?
Mm-hmm. Yep, doing that now.
But it's everybody's kind of waiting to see what happens with the Fed. If they're expecting maybe they'll lighten up on the inflation and the interest rate increases, which again would get the market to go up a little bit more. Well, let's run through the last week. The market was up today, had a pretty good run today, but it's recovering from several negative days earlier this week. For the past week, the Dow is down 700 points, or about 2%. And the NASDAQ is down about 2.5%, a little bit more, 300 points. Microsoft has fell off a little bit. It's down 11 points. And Tesla had a 3-for-1 stock split. So if you had 100 shares at around $900, you now have 3 shares at $300. The value is the same, but you have more shares of stock. Apple's down slightly, and Pfizer is also down slightly, 2%, but it's only down a point. But all in all, it's been a shaky week. Again, we'd had some rallies from last week until this week, and then the market kind of took a downturn. So hopefully things will head in the right direction. Right now, people don't know if the Fed's going to continue their strong push to raise interest rates, or if they're going to back off a little bit, which would allow a lot more growth in the market. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's like we said, the stock market goes up and it goes down. But we're in it for the long play. The crypto currency market is still been very volatile. Um, the total market cap for cryptocurrency last week was 1.15 trillion. It is down to 1.9 trillion dollars. And the Bitcoin last week was at $23,185 at this time. And today at 7 p.m. it's down to $21,632 per Bitcoin. So it's off. It's still the number one ranked cryptocurrency. It still holds the majority of the market cap of cryptocurrencies. It's down about 20 billion. It's down about 30 billion. Last week it was market cap was at 443 billion. This week is at 413, so it's down about 30 billion. I don't know if that's people selling off, taking their profits, or people just being scared, jumping out and taking their losses. But what's so interesting to see with MU, which is one of the mean cryptocurrencies, M-E, mean, it's a character, it's a dog, an Indian dog. And for some reason, it's up 5% today. And it's interesting that the market cap is up by about, 100 million. So that's 900 million, actually. Kind of interesting. And then the Dogecoin, which Elon Musk is behind, it's actually down to 0.06. And the market cap is down on that too. It was ranked number 10 last week. It's still ranked at number 10, so it's holding. It's very interesting. So a lot of people are still betting on cryptocurrency, and there's so many more out there, you all. And HBAR and the stable coins. I have a lot of friends in multiple cryptocurrencies, and they're holding. So we'll see, though, like we always say. What's interesting is was yesterday that President Biden signed the student loan forgiveness program. What's your take on that? Because a lot of people fired up saying it's not fair and all this stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you look at it on the surface, and their argument is that why should people who have the potential of making a lot of money, having earned a college degree, why should they get a break when their income should be going up in the future compared to people who are not going to, who did not go to college and whose income will probably stay fairly stable over their lifetime. And I guess in and of itself, that you could make that argument that probably makes sense to some people, but the fact of it is, a lot of people are burdened with school loans that they can't afford to pay, and you'd been hearing about this being the next housing bubble, like we had in 07, 08, with all the loans outstanding. So many people have loans that they can't afford to do anything else. So, me personally, I think it was a worthwhile initiative to get people off of these loans. And when you look at the act in detail, which I think we're going to do next week, it's not rich people who are benefiting. It's people. There's an income limit involved, and again, we'll get into it next week. But how do you feel? Do you feel that people are should be angry about this having gone to
Well,
select group?
I don't know about people, but I damn sure was at first because I paid for my daughter's education out of pocket, so this does not benefit me. And then out of the 1.7 trillion dollars of student loan debt, though, it is said that I think it's over 60% is graduate school. So I have an issue with paying somebody's graduate, that they decided to go to graduate school for, I don't know, whatever, psychology, basket weaving, or whatever, and that I should fund it. But after I sat back and thought about it, and I saw the caps that they're doing it on, because a lot of people, most of the people who are going to benefit from this, especially with getting the relief from the Pell Grants is going to be, I think, probably under about $75,000 that they can make. That's not, I mean, that they ain't making a windfall. You know what I'm saying? And then they said the plumbers and the UPS drivers that didn't go to school is unfair to them. But I'm like, I know some plumbers, electricians, and UPS guys who got kids that got loans that they're going to benefit from.
Yeah,
So,
good point.
and this is the other one with me though that I came around and wasn't, taking it personal. Uh, when they gave it's over $1 trillion, and it still not was paid the tax bill, and it definitely benefited way favorably, way more for the top 10%. And they wasn't saying that wasn't fair, but all of a sudden now it's helping the guy low down on the totem pole, and they're going to try to, say it's like apples and apples, but it's not really. And these are people who actually were. This is different than like the housing bubble, where they said the people went out there and they took them big loans and knew what they were getting into, trying to, bigger houses. They had to take responsibility for it. No, these people were getting education to improve themselves. So I have no problem with that. So
Okay, we'll get into this in detail next week, but let's
yes.
let's move
Yes, I didn't mean to go off on there because I take it very personal.
Yeah.
Because the UNC is kicking my behind. But anyway,
let's let's talk about the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah, let's talk about something else, man. No, I ain't want to talk. Yeah, at least that's another helpful thing.
Okay, that's it.
No, talking about the Inflation Reduction Act, which you get ready to talk about. But the last 2 weeks, Biden has been on a roll. He passed, in the last month, he passed a gun bill that took him 40 years. He passed a chip bill for semiconductors. He's passed he's got the most lower the gas prices consecutively for the last 30 days. He's been on a roll overall, and the student loan debt. And now the Inflation Reduction Act. I just want to add that in because people are like, what is he doing? And also, though, he gave $5.8 billion to HBCUs. But for all those people saying, what is Joe Biden doing? Shut up.
Okay. So how do you really feel about this, Bob? Okay, let's get into the Inflation Reduction Act. And it's one of his campaign promises to build an economy that works for working families. Okay, it lowers prescription drug costs, healthcare costs, energy costs. It's the most aggressive action taken against this climate crisis that we have that a lot of people seem to think doesn't exist. It should also lower the deficit, and it's going to be financed by the super wealthy and corporations to make them pay their fair share. And one of the basic principles of this act is that no one who makes under $400,000 a year will pay a penny more in taxes.
And though, speaking about reducing the deficit, by the way, President Biden last year reduced the deficit over $300-something billion. They don't talk about it. But when Obama was in office, they produced the deficit number every day. They would show every day under Obama, every day. And Trump has taken it up to the highest it's been in history. And I think it's up to like $24 trillion.
Okay,
And all of a sudden now they're going to be talking about, they're worried about the deficit.
I don't know if you drank some coffee before today's show or what, but you are fired up today. But listen,
no, I'm because I'm
focusing on what we're talking about. Let's stick.
I'm sorry, but you said it's going to help the deficit. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to bring that up. That under Obama, they talked about wrote about the deficit every day. Now you don't even see nothing about it, but yet President Biden doing. Though, let me tell you another thing though. This Inflation Reduction Act, okay? Now, when Biden, before Biden got in office, there were over 3.9 million Black Americans that were uninsured, right? And when Biden took office, there were over 570,000 Black people who fell into the Medicaid, that coverage gap thing, and
Yeah.
were locked out of the coverage because of their state refused to expand Medicare. So now with this act, and since he's been in, by the way, not just this act, but this act is going to reduce the uninsured rate by 8%, and about 5.2 million people are going to gain health care coverage because of the Inflation Reduction Act. And like you said, Dope, this is a great thing because it's going to lower the cost for families. It's going to combat the climate crisis, reduce the deficit, and a lot of large corporations are going to finally pay their fair share. So let's get into it, Dope, and let's discuss how though will this reduction act impact you?
Well,
What does it mean for you?
yeah, well, let's start with healthcare. And the first thing it does, it's going to cut prescription drug costs. They're going to allow some negotiation on some of the expensive stuff that people in Medicare pay, which is going to help. And just as a basis, Americans now pay 2 to 3 times what citizens of other countries pay for prescription drugs, and that's just crazy. 5 to 7 million Medicare beneficiaries could see their prescription drug costs go down because of the provision that allows Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices. 50 million Americans with Medicare Part D will have peace of mind knowing that their cost for the pharmacy will be capped at $2,000 a year. And that's going to directly benefit about 1.4 million people each year. Okay. 3.3 million Medicare beneficiaries with diabetes will benefit from a guarantee that the insulin costs are capped at $35 for a month's supply. You're going to get a lot more access to free vaccines, including shingles. They got the pneumonia vaccines. There's a whole bunch of vaccines that us older people have to get. 13 million Americans will continue to save an average of $800 per year on health insurance premium. 3 million more Americans will have health insurance than without this law. So there's a lot of positives, especially for the older folks.
But though the uninsured rate is at an all-time low of 8%, and that's amazing, man. Which is a historic, and the bill plans to even work on it even more, lowering it. But the big one though is the pharmaceutical industry. I mean, I can't believe how they've been battling and have these lobbyists. They got over like 1,600 lobbyists from pharmaceutical companies in 2021, which is 3 times the number of members in Congress, right? And they've been putting up over like $187 million just spent on lobbying in 2022 alone. So this is big. This is big. I am so glad to see that they're getting stuff done on Capitol Hill, and and the Inflation Reduction Act locks in lower premiums, and more than 3/4 of uninsured Black Americans had access to a plan with a monthly premium. Check this out, though, of $50 or less, and about 2/3 can find a plan with a 0 premium.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing. Yeah, the next item is clean energy, and families to take advantage of some of the provisions in this act. With energy and electric vehicles, they can get tax credits where they can save more than $1,000 a year. There's up to $14,000 in direct consumer rebates for families to buy heat pumps or other energy efficient home appliances, air conditioners, and things of that sort. And using those more efficient appliances could save a family up to $350 a year, or at least $350 a year. 7.5 million more families will be able to install solar on their roofs with a 30% tax credit, and that could save $9,000 over the life of the system.
That's big. So if you're a homeowner, I hope you all are listening out there, because there are a lot of tax credits and benefits that can help you, but you're going to have to be proactive, and you're going to have to, read for yourself and make sure you're in compliance and able to qualify for these things, because the president is trying to, get America on track with the climate control, and which will save, what they're estimating, every family an average of $50 per year.
500.
Say it again.
500, not 50.
What I'm saying, $500. Thanks, though, per year on the energy costs alone, and that's pretty big, though. And they trying to power homes, businesses, communities. We're gonna talk about businesses in a minute. With clean energy, and these things are going to be going in play all the way up to 2030, and they look to implement or allow over 950 million solar panels. They're creating grid scale battery plants, which is going to help so much with our electricity, because they're using the smart grids for everything these days. And so they're trying to build that up. And a lot of that's also in the infrastructure bill, on building the infrastructure for electric and power and batteries. And they want to advance the cost savings of clean energy projects in rural electric cooperatives, serving over 42 million people. So, to strengthen the client's resilience, and they want to protect nearly 2 million acres of our national forest, which I think I'm always into that.
Yeah, one of the areas that's near and dear to me is the changes in the tax code. And the goal is to make the tax code fairer. And I mean, everybody's heard about some of these large, profitable corporations that use loopholes, or I shouldn't say loopholes, they use the tax code to their benefit, and they pay $0 of tax. 55, that's the number of America's largest, wealthiest corporations that in 2020 paid $0 in taxes. And this bill is going to address that. 160 billion. That's how much the top 1% of earners is estimated to evade each year in taxes. And it's kind of funny because poor folks can't avoid. It's hard to evade when you don't have any money, but when you get money, it's a lot easier to use the tax code to your advantage. That's what they do. So 15%, that's the minimum tax on corporations' profits the Inflation Reduction Act imposes on the largest, most profitable corporations. And that should ensure that high-income people in large corporations pay the taxes that they should contribute to the coffers of the United States.
Well, it's about time they start cracking down on the large companies, especially these profitable corporations, that currently get away with paying no federal income tax. I remember Warren Buffett said, it's a daggone shame he pays zero taxes, and his secretary is paying, 22% taxes.
Yeah.
So one of the things, though, that this is really big, they're going to impose a 1% surcharge on corporate stock buybacks that will encourage businesses to invest. Because a lot of people don't know, a lot of corporations, when they got all this relief back under President Bush and Obama, when we had the economic downturn, and they thought they were going to put their money back into, people's, that were pockets that were working, and they were actually buying back their stocks and getting more control over the corporations. So now they're going to impose a 1% surcharge on the corporate stock buybacks, and 124 billion, which is going to be a savings over 10 years to the Inflation Reduction Act that will generate from collecting taxes already owed by wealthy people and large corporations. And that's according to the Congressional Budget Office. And no family making less than 400,000 will see their taxes go up a penny under this new act. They're going to reduce the deficit, and the Inflation Act will achieve, according to a couple of many economists, hundreds of billions in reduction to the deficit. The deficit is projected to fall by more than 1.5 trillion in this year, after falling by more than 350 billion last year.
Okay, this is one probably a lot of people are interested in, the electric vehicle tax credit. It contains provision for the tax credits that currently exist to be extended for 10 more years, or until December of 2032. And those credits will apply to any clean vehicle, which, for example, now includes hydrogen fuel cell cars. So you can get up to a $7,500 in tax credits for new electrical vehicles and $4,000 for used vehicles. And that can help families save some money. And again, it'll reduce pollution and a whole lot of other positive things. EV tax credits are changing. And there are some limits. And so if you run out and buy a electric vehicle until you understand the ifs and buts involved with this new law. Credit is going to be based on the manufacturer's sales price in order to qualify for the credit. So there'll be a limit. So you can't go out and buy a $100,000 Tesla and then expect to get a tax credit. And it also removes the $200,000 cap that had been in place, that once car companies hit that cap, they could no longer give you the credit. So that's going away. So Tesla, GM, and Toyota, now they qualify for the credit also. And I believe there's some income qualifications also in order to take the credit. So make sure you do your homework before you run out and buy that new electrical vehicle expecting to get a full tax credit.
And those, just for clarification, that 200,000 car cap, meaning that they which allow manufacturers up to 2,000 manufacture 200,000 cars, and the tax credit went away. So they're talking about getting rid of that, right?
Yeah. Once it used to be, once a car company hit $200,000, the tax credit. No, 200,000 cars sold.
Right.
The other could issue the tax credit, but that's being eliminated. So
yeah, just want to clarify that.
Tesla, GM,
yeah,
passed that years ago. So passed that amount years ago. So now they're back in the tax credit game.
Well, another thing it's going to do, though, it's going to create economic opportunities and jobs. And the unemployment rate is down the lowest it's been. I think it's down to 3.6. But it's talking about creating even more jobs, and it's going to help Americans. It's going to spare the solar project development and environmental justice communities by providing 20% bonus credit for solar projects on federally subsidized affordable housing projects, which that's great to help the man that's low on the totem pole. And a 10% bonus credit for solar projects in low-income communities. And so this creates a new clean energy and a sustainability accelerator that will seed state and local clean energy finance institutions to support the deployment of distributed zero-emission technologies like heat pumps, community solar, like we say, electric vehicle charging, while prioritizing over 50% of its investments in disadvantaged communities. So they're killing me when they talk about this, because it's going to help a lot of people in the middle class that usually are the ones getting crunched.
That's for sure. And another thing it's going to do is lower cost for small businesses, which is kind of neat. It includes a number of provisions that will save small businesses some money. For example, they can receive a tax credit that covers 30% of the cost of switching over to low-cost solar power, which will lower their operating costs. And it also protects them against the volatile energy price ups and downs that currently squeeze small businesses. They can also deduct up to $1 per square foot of their business for making high energy efficient upgrades. The per first foot deduction is boosted if the efficiency upgrades are completed by workers who are paid a prevailing wage, helping businesses save money, and also provide good paying jobs. So all in all, there's a lot in here. There's a lot of possibilities for you to invest and save money and lower your operating costs. For example, if you needed a new air conditioner or a furnace or something of that sort, you go out and buy one that's much more efficient than the one you have. You can save on your operating costs, and you can also get tax credits to help you purchase that thing. So all in all, I think it can help a lot of people, and I'm not looking to rush out and buy anything right now, but I will soon. And I've been thinking about an electric car for a while, and this might be the thing that pushes me over the edge. But again, I got to look and see what the income level max is and what the amount of the car is, because I'm not sure. 55,000 sticks in my head, but I'll have to find that number out and get it back to you next week. Do you know what that exact number is, Bob?
For
The maximum amount of a car that you can purchase, the MSRP. Because there's a limit on that. You can't. I don't think you can.
Yeah, I thought it was 55,000.
Yeah, I think that's it. So that's going to limit your choices as far as cars. But I still think there's a bunch in that price range, and a bunch of nice ones in that price range to choose from. So, will that push you to buy an EV?
I think it kind of will push me though, because I've been thinking about it for the longest. And if they give me more credits, because that was helping. One time they were giving $11,000 credit on the electric on the Teslas, and it might push me, but because I'm telling you right now, the ones that for my size, like the S, it's like $140,000, man. I just can't see that right now.
Plus, you won't get no credit for that one either.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get no credit, but they're saying though that this is going to help in the infrastructure that they're building for the superchargers and everything, and they're going to be taking the cap off the number of cars that will be manufactured to get the credit. That might bring the prices down, though. At least that's my hope.
No question. Once they start mass producing these things, the prices are definitely going to come down. And if I was like not retired and still working, and if you had a car that's dedicated to, let's say, city driving, where you can just drive home every day and recharge, I think an EV would be perfect. But for me, if I want to hop on the road and drive to Cleveland to see my mom, I don't want to have to stop, 2-3 times for 45 minutes to an hour or however long it takes to recharge. That's just not something I want to deal with right now. But for a local car and just when you driving every night, plug it in, and next morning you got a full charge. Seems like the way to go, especially with gas prices being as crazy, even though they have come down in the last few weeks.
And the interesting thing though, when it comes to, like you're saying, because you're a person that drives a lot, 300 miles or more. And how many miles does it take you to go to Cleveland?
It's about 500.
Okay, it is that many. But the average person is just driving around locally. I don't think, you will get to 300. And if you have the charger in your house, that really helps. But I drove, like I told you all before, we drove February from Bowie, Maryland to South Beach, Miami. It took us 23 hours, and it took 5 stops at 30 minutes, 40 minutes per stop. And but that, not everybody not making trips like that all the time. So
yeah. So to Cleveland, I probably need at least 2 stops. And again, the range on most of those cars is let's say around 300, but it's really not 300 because you're not going to drive 300. You're only going to drive 250 or so before you start to charge
And
up.
they're starting to increase the mileage. Have you seen the Lucent electric vehicle though?
That's the one that's supposed to be closer to 500, but
And that go, yeah, but that's about how much?
it's over $100,000. Yeah,
Whew, it's a
way,
condo.
it's way north of 100. But again, once they start mass producing these things, and California just passed a law, I think in 2035, you will not be able to buy a gasoline engine car in California. Now, if you already have one, you'll be grandfathered in, but you won't be able to buy a new gasoline car in California after 2035. So they're taking this whole thing pretty serious, and that's
Oh, that's interesting though, because General Motors just announced 2 months ago that they're stopping all combustion cars by 2035 also. So I'm wondering, are they targeting this 2035 for everybody? Though, right quick before we go into the summary takeaways, um, uh, a lot of people I know have the solar panels,
Mhm.
and they were given, credits for the solar panels, and I don't know if they still are, but what's your take on the solar panels? And everybody I know says that they are getting a benefit from the efficiency of the um, solar panels.
Yeah, I know nothing about them. Never had them. Never thought about getting them, and that might be something I think about down the road. But that's just not something I've ever looked into.
Yeah, well, my first question was, when I looked into it, was you need to understand the life of your roof, because you put all those panels on and you ended up needing a new roof, and you putting those panels on top of it and you need a new roof, they're going to have to take them off.
Good point.
But some people told me this: they build in the costs for you if that happens. Now, I don't know if all solar panels do that, but that's something to think about out there, you all. So, Dope, let's go to the takeaways today, and there are some good ones. So I'll take the first one, Dope. Now, according to all this information that we have, the healthcare costs should be going down, especially for prescription drugs, especially for people who are on Medicaid and Medicare, and for people who um, have Obamacare or the American Care Act. Their healthcare costs should be going down, and hopefully, especially us senior citizens, though, maybe we get a break on our pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, and next one is finding an energy saving opportunity for your home. There's going to be a lot of things you can buy when you think about replacing a air conditioner, heat pump, or furnace, things of that sort. Make sure you get something that's efficient. It's going to qualify for you to get that tax credit that's out there. So do your homework before you run out and replace those items.
But definitely think about doing it, because they have this thing called Energy Star, Dope,
Hmm.
and that's sort of the I guess the approved energy saver. And if you see that on windows, or if you see that on appliances and um, light bulbs and all of this, if it has the Energy Star um, approval, that's supposed to help you to qualify for some of these credits, and especially for your home. And the question is, and like you asked me, Dope, is it time to buy an electric car? Um, the people I know that have them, Dope, they save a lot of money. My friend said his fill up of I think he got about 260, 280 is what he fills up to miles, and it costs him approximately, I think, $30. And that's a big savings out here nowadays, the way gas is. things.
And the maintenance should be considerably cheaper because you don't have an engine, you know.
Yeah, you don't have no spark plugs or distributor caps and all that other stuff. And it was interesting because I was in his car. The maintenance is like downloads, so you save a lot because mostly it's just the battery underneath. And that was the other question though that I had about, because if I know how when you keep charging your battery on your phone over a period of time, it stops holding the charge. And I kind of figured that that might work with cars, but with Tesla, they ensure the battery is on the bottom of the car for 10 years. So I took care of that answer for me.
Yeah, most of the EVs have very long battery warranty, so that should not be an issue. Okay, and another item you got to make sure your taxes are in order. One of the things we didn't discuss, we didn't go into detail on, is the amount of money that this act puts into the IRS in order to improve enforcement. Now, theoretically, a lot of this enforcement will go towards people who, let's say, have some leeway in how they report their income and expenses.
That's a nice way to put it.
If you have a W-2 and you sell some stocks, and you get an interest statement from the bank or your brokerage firm, it's pretty hard to do anything to basically, it's hard to cheat on your taxes because all the numbers are verified by a second party. Like your home interest is reported to the IRS. Your interest earned at the bank or the brokerage company is reported to the IRS. Gains on stocks are reported to the IRS. And obviously your W-2 is. But if you have your own business, and you have a little more leeway, and I think that's who they are going to target as opposed to the, let's call it, average or normal folks. And so, but regardless, make sure you dot all the I's and cross all the T's when it comes to doing your taxes, because there will be tighter enforcement down the road because of this new act.
And you cryptocurrency holders, now if you hold them in a cold wallet, like on your computer, no, they won't know, IRS won't know. But when you go to exchange them on an exchange platform, they are regulated by FINRA, the people who regulates stockbrokers and financial institutions and financial advisors. So you can keep it away from them on a cold wallet on your computer or another external drive. But when you go to exchange them, that's how they can report what you're doing. So make sure you got your taxes in order. The last one is take advantage of the Inflation Reduction Act. There's a lot of opportunities there, especially for homeowners, and so please take advantage, because we don't get too many breaks out there these days, and this is one time that I feel it's going to favor the people, the working class people for a change, instead of the filthy rich getting all the tax breaks. So really look into it, you all, and really see what applies to you. Don't just want to go. I just want to give a shout out to my main man, Mike Wildman. He's a New York guy, coached one of the top professional women's basketball teams in Scotland, and was a championship winner. Mike is on board with us, and say hello to my sister Linda. What's up, Carl Chapman? Always good to see you. Modestine is with us as always. I hope my man Lawrence Butler. I hope you're still with us. What's up, bro? Rodney Madison Sr., the owner of the NoteExperience.com. Go out and check him out. Thank everybody for checking out. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box even when we're gone. It can help. We hope this will actually help you all, because there's a lot of benefits that should be applicable to a lot of Americans, especially the healthcare also. Any closing remarks, Dope?
No.
That was pretty short to the point.
God
All
bless
right,
you.
so tune in. We're here every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the FITT Show, financial information for today and tomorrow. Please, you all, go out there and share this on Facebook, and also go out and please, you can share it at YouTube. And also, if you haven't, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because this all helps in us reaching more people. Last disclaimer, disclosure statement, me and Dodie are not making any money. We're just trying to reach as many people as we can. And we want to give this information to as many people as we can. And you also need to not just hoard it for yourself, share it with your family and friends. So thank y'all. Have a good rest of the week. And we look forward to seeing you next Thursday. That'll be it's next Thursday, September though. Sure is.
First.
Woo! Have a great day, everybody.